Right, viewers, Alex spoke about the ITC trade deal. I think ITC will drag the index a bit today, but you expect some support from tech. And the good part about the Indian IT service or the Indian IT index is that it has not necessarily rallied for 4 days in a trot, and therefore it's kind of done the heavy lifting already. It was down in trade yesterday. Some bit of a support out there might actually help counterbalance the ITC drag that the index will see today. But the total open interest call strike prices between 24,800 and 25,000 strikes is a whopping 1.05 lakh crores across May and June. And one would suspect that if May has such a large OI, I'm sure Puneet will talk more about it, suffice to say it will get rolled over. A lot of it, if not all. You would suspect that such large positions don't get extinguished at the end of the expiry. So this time around, the rolls, we'll see that starting today and tomorrow. So would love to know from Puneet how they shape up. But I think I would keep an eye out for the rolls on the strikes, call strikes between 24,800 and 25,000. And that becomes a stiff line of resistance. I would suspect that, and then you think of sectors, I would suspect that LIC's results may actually spur further interest in insurance stocks, and Tamara will speak more about it, so I'm not going to dwell too much on it, but could be an interesting one. But guys, we spoke about pipe companies, right? Remember the PVC price uptake and showing that, uptake possible. They are showing the anticipated breakout move, and dealers say it may not be done as yet. And look at the 5-day moves that have come in. Apollo Pipes in 5 days is up 20%. Supreme Industries 13.25%. Astral 12.5%. I mean, this is after Astral numbers came out, and we spoke about this on Monday morning in the last 2 days as well. Supreme was up some 4% yesterday, 3% day before. Astral was up. Some very strong moves that have happened into the pipe companies. So it's a pocket that one certainly wants to watch out for. And after a long time, I'm looking forward to a listing, guys. I mean, an IPO subscribed 41 times. We need that green on the screen. We were spoiled for it in 2024. I think we need that.
But the one yesterday was not half bad. Burana was okay. In a bad day, it was still about 17-18% up. So textile company, today you have an auto anch company, always in the hot space as well. So Bellrise is something we will actually be discussing just before the listing. 9:50 this morning, we'll be telling you if you got allotment, what should you do? If you didn't get allotment, should you still come and buy in? So if you're interested in the Bellrise IPO, stay tuned for that. Meanwhile, some factors to watch which, I'm penciling in. Yes, stock-specific, result-specific factors will very, very much dominate the screens. Even today, you might see some rebound in IT stocks taking on from NASDAQ Qs. Remember, IT was the worst performer yesterday, and that was because it was overall a very volatile session. The index hit an intraday high near 24,973 and slid 300 points from the high. So that is how deep the cuts were. The index also failed to close above the falling resistance trend line, but continued to sustain above key moving averages, which is a positive sign. RSI stood at 57.63, which is a downward tilt, so definitely not in the overbought zone, if that's any kind of a reprieve. If the index defends the support zone at 24,700 and upside towards the 25,100 to 25,200 range is possible. On the other hand, a decisive fall below 24,700 could drag it to 24,500 to 24,450. Nifty Bank Index continues to trade above all key moving averages, which is technically positive. However, both RSI indicate a weakening momentum for the Bank Nifty, resistance at 55,700 and support at 55,100. But for more details, technical levels and what positions are building up in the F&O space, I'm going across to Puneet.
Well, thank you for that and very good morning. We've seen Nifty as well as, Bank Nifty again trade in a much, in range yesterday as well. First, let's look at what the GIFT Nifty is also indicating at 36 points on the premium. We again saw open interest collapse yesterday, and as we're getting towards expiry, that is an expected move. On the Bank Nifty as well, 55,500 has been a level we've been speaking about, just a tad below that level, but largely maintaining that, and that's a positive sign as well. when you look at the FNO position as well, when you go forward and look at that, they have been largely, yesterday was a mixed day in a sense for both, for FIs across indices. They didn't maintain a long position in index options as well as Nifty options, but largely were net short on the stock futures as well as something like the Nifty futures as well. Let's also look at the long short ratio. It's again fallen to 31%, and we've been speaking about that for a while, that it hovered around 37% last week, then collapsed to 32%. We saw a recovery around 35%, and then again we are seeing shorts being built up in the system again. The net OI put to call ratio is again hovering around 1, which is largely essentially a very neutral sentiment, to say the least, where puts are being sold as well as calls are being sold at a similar number as well. And finally, just let's look at the levels as well, where there's a build up of calls, and Neeraj did highlight about that. The big candlestick being formed at 25,000 again. 25,400 has also been one of the other levels, along with 25,500, but largely indicating that at 24,500 on the puts has largely been indicating that traders are taking out of money puts as well as calls in their bets going forward. Again, that will be something to watch out for going forward as well. But largely seemingly estimating that a 13-point fall in the implied open, the 25,000 level is one of the key ones for the Nifty going forward.